Why can people predict the future? Have you ever wondered why your highest self, when you tap into that, you can do immensely beautiful things? Welcome back to One's journey of unwinding the mind and, of course, your daily microdose. Now tune in to the latest episode of One's journey. Today I want to talk about the script and it already being written. Yes, this is the secret to success. This is the secret to success. And it's all about the script already being written. Yes, you heard correct. All of this has already occurred. Have you ever wondered why there is such a thing as deja vu? Well, deja vu is that feeling inside you get when you're like, this has already happened. The reason why is because it has already happened. The entire instant that we are experiencing right now, all of the lifetimes has already occurred. We just happen to be experiencing it like a movie. And within that movie, our only option is our shift of perspective and the ability to choose the Holy Spirit's perspective over the ego's perspective in the moment. And the more we do, yes, we can shift what that script looks like, but the script is literally already written. Why can people predict the future? Because in fact, they have access to all of the knowledge. Have you ever wondered why your highest self, when you tap into that, you can do immensely beautiful things? Because your highest self already sees the entire script, knows exactly how everything is going to lay out perfectly. Therefore, you essentially are a psychic, a medium, any of the above, because you have access to the abundance of all the knowledge, the mind's knowledge. The problem is there's so much smoke and mirrors and fear and shame and guilt in the way that you can't hear it. You don't know how to listen. You have forgotten how to listen. And that is the path of remembering. And that is why this is the secret to success. Because when you clear the noise out and you're able to listen to the one that knows all, the guide of a lifetime, that is when your journey can really take hold and you fully surrender. Because at that moment, it's no more placing weight on what ifs or shoulds or coulds. You know that you are listening to the ultimate guide, which is your highest self or the Holy Spirit, who knows everything, who knows exactly how it is going to work out. And your highest self, because it knows the script already, it's constantly communicating with you. But again, the problem is you have forgotten to listen. And so this goes into manifesting then. So is manifesting actually magic? Well, I think we believe it's magic and we're creating it to appear to be magic because we're placing weight on it and believing we're little magicians and that we can order God around to get exactly what we want if we say the affirmations, if we clear out, the limiting beliefs, which we all know there is no such belief as limiting, and then say, this is what I want. This is where I'm going. But the interesting thing is, so I bet if we did a poll on manifesting, who people attempt to manifest, the percent is probably pretty equal as to who's able to manifest and who's not able to manifest. And my theory is that, in fact, when you make the plan to manifest and you come up with something and you're really in touch with that highest self or the Holy Spirit, you're not, in fact, creating your own future. You're remembering what your future looks like. And you're reminding yourself in that moment that that is where this is going to go. And so naturally, you're already going towards that place. So this huge, massive weight we put on ourselves that your reality is created by you, is it really? Or is, in fact, your perception of what's outside of you actually what you have control over? I truly believe it is the second. And when you really step into that place, it's this place of ease and going with the flow and just really understanding. And have you ever felt lost in this journey we call life? Again, the secret to no longer feeling lost is to clearing out the noise so you can hear the guide that has the entire map and knows exactly where you are going, because honestly, you're going to go there anyway. Even if you place so much weight on it, you are still going to go in that direction. The problem is, it is going to be miserable because you place so much weight on it. But if you release the weight and understand it's a part of the journey, because it's a much bigger picture than you can even see, is when life is filled with peace and happiness within. Because again, the script is already written. The script is already written. Remember that. And just the ability for you to have access to the entire script is amazing. But we're so fearful of knowing the entire script that we avoid it. One of the sayings is, we don't really want the love of God, because if we wanted the love of God, we would wake up and realize we're already home. Well, the same goes here. This is a direct example of that in fact, we have access to the entire journey. But we are so scared of fully surrendering and owning up that we are not little gods, but instead we are experiencing something that has already occurred. That is scary. That is very scary, because we are taught, take hold, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. If you want to be successful, it's all up to you. And no, I'm not saying that everything is necessarily out of your control, because when you shift your perspective and you release the weight, it allows the script to shift, the hologram to shift, right? So you can shift to different things. But ultimately, if it's not written anywhere in the script for you to become a multimillionaire this year, you won't, or this lifetime, you won't. You won't. And you will try, and you will try, and you will try, and you will bang your head against the wall and bang your head against the wall, and it will just be so painful, because you're not willing to surrender and just listen. So you have all these expectations on yourself. And today I think a big thing is I know my generation started with the movement of becoming famous, right? And now we have more and more opportunities through influencers and reality television, blah, blah, blah. And it's so many people's goal, and they go to these personal development conferences and they're told, like, if you do X, Y, and Z, you will become. And then guess what? They do X, Y, and Z and they don't become. And then they have so much shame and guilt and wondering why everybody else is doing it but not them, when in fact that wasn't a part of their script. And if they would have just surrendered, they can find happiness and peace in any script they are in. I've talked about our friend before who's homeless here in Tampa, and we've talked to him, and he says you don't need money, because he has been able to surrender and find peace and happiness in the situation in which he is in. He is not interested in magic. He literally said that, because he knows that this is his script. And this is, yes, he wants to live. He almost died once, and wants to become eternal and all of these things within his body, but also he has fully surrendered to what may come for him. And he lives very much in the moment, and maybe not fully by choice and much by circumstance, but also that is such a beautiful place to be. When you release that weight of what's happened in the past and what's happened in the future, and really take that step back, as this is kind of like watching a movie. And when you're watching a movie and something major happens, yes, your body tends to respond, but you don't sit and mope in it and place all of the weight on it, do you? Or you would be debilitated after a sad movie. And sometimes people are, because it activates that within themselves, and they internalize that it's actually occurring to them, because their subconscious doesn't know different. But again, this is the secret to success. To removing those barriers, to have access to the guide. Well, not even have access, but to be able to hear the guide. We often say, Spirit told me to do this. My soul told me. My highest self told me. They are not messaging you things and withholding at other times. You literally have access to that 24/7, 100% of the time. The problem is you're the one blocking it, right? So the secret to success is to remove the barriers to be able to hear that, to remember. And then in that, you have to trust, because sometimes that map sounds like, why would I take 100 miles to the east when I can go 20 miles straight ahead? But it is part of the bigger picture, and you have to trust that your highest self can see the entire bigger picture. It's just like sailing. Right? When I first learned how to sail and I could see the dock straight ahead, it would take us maybe 2 minutes to get to the dock if we would have went straight, but instead it took us 20 minutes because we had to surrender to the wind and tack, meaning we had to zigzag back and forth instead of going straight. But if we would have attempted to go straight, we would have been going into the wind and we would have got nowhere. We would have stayed stuck or gone backwards. That is the same thing, right? We surrendered to the wind. You need to surrender to what your highest self is guiding you to do and trust. Because your highest self literally knows the entire script. So again, is manifesting actually magic? Or is it some illusion of magic within the illusion? I believe it's the latter. I believe when manifesting works for you, it's because you have maybe tapped into the ability to hear your highest self, and you're not creating that, you're seeing what the future is. And then for those who want the same future as you of fame and rich and all that, and they attempt to manifest like you did, and you're selling thousands of dollars worth of courses and they can't do it, it's because that was not a part of their script, and they're not listening to their highest self because their highest self's guide doesn't look like the guide they want. So think about that for a bit. And again, if you have ever felt lost on this journey, this is the answer. And if you ever wondered why deja vu and where it came from, this is the answer. I hope this video was helpful for you and gave you some clarity. Again, this doesn't mean just go sit on a park bench and not do anything, but to realize the amount of weight you place on things that are technically out of your control. Your focus should be on shifting your perspective and removing the barriers to be able to listen to that guide and learn how to trust that guide. That is when life becomes seamless and easy and filled with peace and happiness, and complete weight is removed. Share, share, share. I am so grateful for you as always. Remember, you are worth it. Until next time, and tons of love. Bye.